This is a treat. This is really weird, Cathryn Michon, who makes movies and has made a movie for the Dog Film Festival. I say this is so treat. This is a treat. Cathryn and I can hang out and see you, and we can see each other's face, but it's still a radio show, and I'm still a radio person. So I say things like, "Oh, it's a treat," and I'm going to show Cathryn's book and on the screen, but people are just listening to it. I know I have it too. Look. It is a treat. And those of you that are only listening with your ears, which by the way is my preference for listening to radio and or podcasts, it is now on YouTube. So you could see us in living color. The other thing you can see is Tucker, who is the star of the movie that Cathryn made, specifically made it for the Dog Film Festival based on this gorgeous book of hers. So can we just talk about Tucker for a moment? Because he seems to have a light on him, like a key light, like you as the director have
He
decided.
knows how to find his key light. He needs no help from mommy, the director. He is my stepdaughter, Georgia Lee, who is a rescuer, says you always get the dog you need. And as a filmmaker, I got the dog I needed with Tucker. He's been in multiple feature films that we have made, including A Dog's Journey and Muffin Top, A Love Story. He has my DP on Muffin Top said, I don't know how that dog does it, but he is dead on, eyes to camera. He knows where the camera is. He stays, he finds his light. He's a camera boy. He's a sleepy boy.
Yeah,
He's
which
always,
is a good quality because there's a lot of downtime on a set.
yeah, which is good. And then when it's the camera up, he's ready to go. I always say, Tucker, I'll say it now and he won't react. But normally if I say, Tucker, do you want to do a little cheese work? He knows he gets paid in cheese. If I'm messing around with props and books and things and I say that, he comes running. And
You, you have an upcoming movie for Netflix that's been greenlit for you and Bruce to make, but you are going to direct. I hope that the famous stars you're going to have in it will do well for you when you say cheese, and they will
yeah,
order for cheese. You're probably going to have to give them goat cheese and camembert and all kinds of fancy things. The
and money probably. Yeah.
A lot of money. Yeah, exactly. Tucker recently had surgery. Can you talk a little about that? Because I think it's important.
Uh,
No,
yeah, no, he's a senior boy. He just turned 14. He, in addition to his extensive talents as a screen actor, he also is great at growing lumps and bumps and things that are not attractive, but we don't care about that. But he had one under his tail that was becoming problematic and it was not cancerous, but we had to
yeah.
get it out of him.
I just want everyone to know that even star dogs
Yeah.
have everyday issues and
Yes.
obviously doing amazingly. This is the thing that is really, we'll talk in a minute again about the book, which we talked about when it came out, and that you and your publisher are graciously giving a copy to each of the 8 film directors who are going to be present at the premiere October 26th. So thank you for that. It'll be in their doggy swag bag. But this book, when I first saw it, um, and then read it, it has the most amazing watercolor paintings in it, is what I would call them. They're not drawings, each one's a
They
painting.
are paintings. They are paintings.
Art.
And they're not digital. They were executed on paper. All the exigencies of watercolor, which is a very difficult medium for painters because once it's there and you can't get rid of it. I'm still here, A Dog's Purpose Forever. My dream was always to have this be a companion graphic book to my husband's epic classic novel, A Dog's Purpose, because I wanted there to be a companion graphic gift book that was so gentle and so comforting that it's the book that you would give to someone after they had gotten home from the vet from helping their dog over the Rainbow Bridge. And it took a long time to find a publisher that would make this beautiful. It's all printed on watercolor paper. It's very high quality, only hardcover. It'll never be a paperback with this beautiful gold embossing and all of it. Everybody wanted, and I wanted it to be $20. I wanted it to be a book people could afford, not some $75 coffee table book. I wanted it to be something easy to hand to your friend on that horrible day that all of us who love dogs will have. We will
Yes.
have today.
It's interesting because as soon after I first interviewed you about it, my social media manager, who does all of the great promotion of all these radio shows and of the film festivals, had to put to sleep one of her dogs, and they just couldn't even talk about it. And I quickly mailed her a copy of the book because that's what you do. That's what you
Yeah.
do. It's a beautiful, soothing, like a soul band-aid. And someone wrote in the other day and said, I was a little surprised. Could you please take me off your mailing list? And every week, people who want to hear my various shows and episodes and know who's on it get this e-newsletter. That's all you get to know is you can click and listen or watch on YouTube now. She said, would you take me off? It's too painful for me. My dog died last year. Now, this is October, and her dog died the previous year. The grief is profound. And I said, of course I will. I don't want to rub salt in your wound, although there's many topics that, still might interest you, and there's nothing sad that happens. But please get Cathryn Michon's book, I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever, because grief is so deep and long lasting. For some,
Do you remember the song Bojangles?
sure,
Uh,
yes.
20 years ago, the dog died, but he still grieves. That's my reality. I
I
think,
hadn't thought about those lyrics.
yeah, I call it the Bojangles effect. I think their love is so unconditional that they are owed that grief. That's part of our ongoing relationship with them. And I do believe that their souls are eternal, as our souls are. I do believe that they visit us, that they are here watching and loving and guiding, and that we meet them and all the souls we've lost again. That's what I believe. I understand that not everyone believes that, but that is the underpinning of why Bruce wrote A Dog's Purpose and why I wanted to write this book and put it out into the world, because I think you need to be reminded of it. And that's why I also chose for it to be not a novel, but like free verse poetry, because then it's something that you can just pick up and just randomly flip to a page. And I see joy wears dogs out, but in a good way. Sometimes I have so much joy that I get what people call zoomies. After that, I need a nap. But since I love naps, it all works out.
Yeah, the book is very upbeat, and so is the film. It's about the fact that the dogs we've lost are still here if we just listen or pay attention or kind of allow that presence that many of us have that funny feeling, or we think about the dog or dogs that we've lost at random times. Now, why did we think of them right then? Did the dog poke us in the solar plexus of our mind? Why did that happen? And the book is charming and ethereal and spiritual, and so's the movie. But you went a step beyond to make the movie. My idea when I said to you was, this book is so beautiful. Could you just film the beautiful watercolors with the gorgeous text you've written, which is both touching but also funny and real, things like the cone of shame and zoomies. And you said, sure. And then 8 months later, you'd made this quite elaborate film. Can you talk about
Well, I
and
guess
beyond you went?
might be an essential personality flaw, or perhaps my best attribute as an artist. I don't seem to be able to do anything the easy way. I could have taken this beautiful art and done a Ken Burns pan and scan of the
Yes.
image, and
Yes.
it would have been lovely, and there would have been nothing wrong with it. But I got very intrigued about the idea of actually animating this art,
Mhm.
which we did. So the film is a combination of animated paintings and live action that we shot and then treated in a post-production process that turns live footage into a watercolor painting. So the whole you basically descend into this book. It starts with, you see the cover, and then you see my hands flipping through it, and then the book comes to life, and that's the movie. And it was such a treat to work with my favorite co-star. I'm in it because I play the me that's in the book and in the paintings, and Tucker plays Tucker. He's like the George Clooney of dogs. He's always playing himself. And and it came together in a very magical way. I happen to live in Venice, and the Venice canals have a lot of very beautiful bridges. And so one of the bridges in my neighborhood became the Rainbow Bridge, and it's
Right.
lovely. And
Yes.
the dog cast of the film is literally Tucker's pack. These are the dogs that he meets on his daily, 3 times a day long walks in our beachy neighborhood. And it was all just, we literally cast the movie one day as we walked to the farmer's market. We ran into every dog and person that's in the film and said, "Hey, would you be willing on Saturday at Magic Hour to join us and be part of this shoot?" And everybody said yes. That's how we cast the film. Both.
It, it's a lesson to those who might want to make a film. You can't go as far as Cathryn Michon did because you have all this experience. You and Bruce together have made a number of major Hollywood films. You've written the screenplay and so forth. And now your next one's going to be you directing and him writing. Yep. But
Yeah. So, I mean, we have 5 produced films. I've directed 2 of them, and then this will be the 6th and the 3rd one for me to direct.
I didn't realize you directed the several of the others as well. That's a huge thing. So the fact that you then decided to teach yourself a completely new medium is going to
Yeah.
be an interesting lesson to people. So someone could think, all I've got is my iPhone. I don't have her resources. I don't have her knowledge. I don't have her skill set. I don't have her self-confidence, if you will, in dealing with film. So can I do it? And there are people who have made wonderful movies with just their iPhone. Some of them have used some platforms. There's I think a young man, because I think he's young, because I think he referred to his mother, maybe was the one who submitted the film, but it's made in AI about a lost kitten in the United Arab Emirates. It's wow, people are doing really cool things. But the fact that you invented a new way to make a movie when you already knew a lot about making movies, like a lot, you created a high bar for yourself, and I think it's a testament to who you are and who the people are who love film, love their dogs, and love the dog film festival, and think, what can I do that's bigger and better? And just let me jump over that obstacle, which is just creativity, right? And the love for the animals.
We are in a time in filmmaking that is revolutionary. The AI tools are amazing. The post-production, this whole live action part that was in After Effects, which is a program that's been around for a while, but increasingly there are even more beautiful After Effects templates like the one we used to create the watercolor effect. It's a really amazing time. This thing shoots 4K. I worked in a visual effects house. One of the movies I directed was in partnership with a visual effects house. So I know a lot about visual effects. And I'm here to tell you that there are major studio movies where somebody in a post house had to go grab an insert shot and they used this. There are major studio films that have 4K iPhone footage in them. And you'll never know because it's that good.
That's amazing. Which film was that?
Oh, I can't tell you that because then they'd all get in trouble.
It
Oh,
was oh, the film
the
that you
one that
made.
I made? Oh, the one that I made was a movie called Cook Off that is a comedy, very R-rated, ridiculous comedy about a bunch of starring Melissa McCarthy and a bunch of other people. And it's a bunch of people competing to win $1 million in something oh so very much like the Pillsbury Bake Off, but not.
It's a great idea. Who doesn't? You've had some great stars. Some are canine and some are human, and you often
Yeah.
mix the two. I think that what really stunned me in seeing your version of your book was, oh my God, that's Cathryn. But is it Cathryn, or is it the ghost of Cathryn, or is it Cathryn in your dreams kind of thing? It's amazing how it creates this dreamy effect.
Yeah, it's fun because one of the things that I told all my people cast of the movie, I said, don't worry about hair and makeup. It doesn't matter because you're going to be turned into a watercolor painting and the program will pick up the details of your face just the same way a makeup artist would. And you're going to be really pretty. It's going to be like you're going to be a pretty painting. And look at all the people. No one, we didn't have a makeup artist or hair person. Everybody just came as they were. And now they all look like beautiful paintings.
Really quite It's quite extraordinary. I think one of the themes that's in the film festival this year, and your film is the closing film because it's an upbeat note on a theme that is goes through two or three of the movies that are about grief and grieving for dogs. And it's interesting that people in the early years of the film festival said, "Oh, I couldn't come to a dog film festival. I don't want to cry." What do you think I'm going to do? Shoot old Yeller in the backyard? I'm not going to have movies where dogs die, but dogs do die. And in the process of dying, there's often people, loving them in their senior years and holding them as they take a long nap kind of thing, or maybe the last long nap, but probably not the long last nap. But there's a wonderful movie from Mexico, just a very simple movie called The Funeral. It's just a family on a beach and they're just each saying something to the dog that they've lost. It's crazy because it's a similar to the idea of your book, but just in one little breath. And they each we don't know what they're saying. They're on a beach and we don't know who they're we just know it's called The Funeral. So who are they speaking to? You were my great friend. You were always there for me. I love you. And it's a dad and a mom and two kids. And now they leave a flower in the sand and they trudge off the beach in a line, in a row, and the father has the shovel over his shoulder. And as they leave the screen, the dog is bounding after them in a ghost-like way. And it's something that we all need to be reminded of. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to mourn and feel the loss. It's part of the love, and it shouldn't be denied for us, even as film goers or dog lovers, to say, oh, that's somebody else's way of expressing it.
If you go on Amazon, for example, and look up I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever, I was surprised and I wasn't aware of it because I was busy doing other things like making this movie. There's so many people who have uploaded photographs of how they're using this book in a
Really
corner of the house, how they've made a little
trying.
place where the dog's ashes are, or a photograph of the dog, or the dog's collar, or all these tableaus where people are using it as a totemic object. And I think it is as important to have a ceremony, a memorial for a pet, any pet, not just a dog, as it is for people. I feel like we need that sense of ceremony and closure and honor in a place where we put a candle and a picture and maybe the book or whatever it is. I think that is an essential. I think very recently they found a Paleolithic dog. Dogs evolved in the Paleolithic era from wolves. They were evolved by people. My husband actually wrote a book called The Dog Master that's all about that.
Really good.
It's a beautiful book. And they found this human buried with a dog, and the dog had a collar and a leash that had survived in the burial site. I think it was in France. It was like in a very clay-rich environment so that things were preserved. And so that's going back 30,000 years. We've been doing this and we should continue to do this. And we shouldn't let modern life talk us out of memorializing this family member, because they are family members, with the honor and dignity that we would for a person.
And that helps us have closure and recognize it and have the other people in the family or your extended family also be part of that ritual. It's funny when we're little, if we live at all in the countryside and a canary dies that we have in a cage or a goldfish, or maybe we find a sparrow in the yard. It's quite normal for children to say, oh, let's have a funeral, and you get a box and you put cotton in it and you have this little funeral for this animal that may or may not have been close to you at all. But when it comes to the animals that share a decade or 15 years of our lives, or in cats' cases, 20 something, if you're lucky, we don't embrace that idea. That's, ooh, that would be maudlin, or no, that's too much to deal with. When really, that is what we should be doing for ourselves to honor them, but also honor the love and honor the relationship. Funerals definitely, and memorials and celebrations of life. You don't have to call it a funeral, you call it a celebration of life, and you could have a celebration of life corner for your dog or other pet somewhere that is a way of saying, I honor what we had and who you were.
Yeah, and invite your friends that knew the dog.
Yes, absolutely.
Make it something that's a community thing because Tucker's next door neighbor dog, this dog Tilly, was his first girlfriend, and we did that for her. And then Lily, who came after Tilly, is now Tucker's
Oh,
very serious. They're engaged to be engaged. Let's just say that.
cradle
Though he
robbing? Is she
yeah,
young?
he's significantly older than she is, but we live in Hollywood, so what
Exactly.
movie star? What do you expect? You know,
Of
he's
course, that's what he needs. Much younger bride or much younger main squeeze. I
yes,
do think,
He's the Leo DiCaprio of yeah.
or we could think of many other examples, but that's just Tucker. Also, it's the convenience of being next door.
It is that as
I mean,
well.
if somebody adopted a senior
But
dog,
they love each other. And she's actually, Lily is in the movie in the
oh,
sequence of film where Tucker's character is talking about take your own leash and go home. Uh,
yes.
then Lily is the very tiny little white dog who there's a long tracking shot of her carrying her leash in her mouth and going home. And that is Lily. So that's Tucker's main squeeze.
Now we know some of the People magazine will have to put in all these anecdotes about real life things that you brought to bear on the movie. I think that you must have had a lot of choked up moments or tears and sadness yourself in making the book because Tucker.
Yeah, I was finishing in the race to finish the film. I had a team of artists that I've worked with in the past who were volunteering on this one. And so I had to fit in between their actual jobs that pay their mortgages. And at that time was when we were contemplating and then actually having Tucker go through this rather extensive surgery. It was a couple of hours and he's a senior dog. And so we were quite nervous about it. And it was hard for me to look at the movie at that time, except that that's the message. And if Tucker's surgery had not gone well, I
Yes.
think I would find it very comforting to hear him saying to me, I'm still here.
Yes, totally. That's why I'm ending the festival with it, because whatever the emotions are that people will feel, which are multiple, my whole intention with the festival is to have people from many different countries with many different points of view, as well as artistic skills or ideas, express what the dogs in general, their dog, a dog, meant to them or perhaps to somebody else. And the fact that it ends with your film is just such an upbeat way of saying they're all still here. The
Yeah.
dogs you see here today on the screen, the dogs you've had throughout your life, they're all still here. Give them space in your heart and in your mind and take a minute. We rush. I certainly rush way too much.
I recently had a cast and crew screening here at my house with people and the dogs in the movie. And it was interesting because I've seen the movie many times. I was just watching them, of course, and the people were there with their dogs, and everyone was like just touching their dog as they watched the movie because it grounds you in that.
In the moment of the emotion. We've run out of time, Cathryn Michon. Your film, I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever. I hope it will inspire many more people to buy the book, as well as, of course, come to the film festival. You'll meet Cathryn. She's coming all the way from California. I'm feeling very honored by that, and we all should too. She's pretty special. And Tucker's not coming because he's smart. He's going to stay home with Lily, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to hang. But it's been a delight to get to see you and meet you and talk to you. And everyone is going to be delighted by your movie. Thank you for all.
And thank you for being the inspiration for me to make this film. I'm very glad I did. And it was really because you challenged me, and then I can't make anything go easy. So
But on the other hand, I'm very honored that you did. So, a mutual love fest. See you soon. Work well, and good luck for your upcoming movie as well. Take care, Cathryn. And say hi to Bruce Cameron, the great dog author.
I will.
Okay, bye.